For the next portion of this lesson, you will need black fine line markers. You might want to have gel pens handy if you have them, or other kinds of markers. And then I will be using Posca markers. These are acrylic markers that make just some lovely colors on the spread. They come in a couple of different sizes, and so I've collected these over the time. You don't have to go out and buy the Posca markers. They're somewhat expensive, but they are fun to use, and you'll see as I add to my spread what's possible with those. Then the other thing that you will need is your list of words that you've collected from your shapes here, the things that you've drawn in black, and a pencil would be helpful. And the first stage is to look at your list of words and see what stands out to you, what comes together for you. I ended up drawing boxes around words that seemed to go together. Small talents before splendid turmoil has an interesting thought about it. Another one that jumped out, find icebergs like scattered courage, and balance human kindness together. So those were three small poems that jumped out at me as I was looking. So what I'm going to do is now add some lines and put some of these words on my spread to connect what's already there. And I wanted to just show you some of the things that I have noticed about my spread. One is that, here is my person over here, and then here is where the outline or the shadow of my person is. And I'm going to put some stones here, stones and a thing to balance. I'll do it in just a moment, but I just want to share with you to connect the real person, the visible person, with the shadow person. That's where I'm going to start. I know that this candle is going to mean something to me, and I may use the Poscas to color that flame yellow because it really wants to be yellow. So this is a time when you look at what you've created and you begin to see what the connections are. Ask the question, what does my landscape have to do with this? What are the shapes that I've chosen, and how do they speak to me? And then the words, of course. So I'm going to just go ahead and add some color and some lines with my markers. And the first thing I'm going to do is put my rocks of courage in. And so we'll start there. I'm going to go ahead and write my my phrase down here. One of the ones: find brave stones like scattered courage. And you can print or use your regular handwriting. You could use magazine lines here, although you really want to use the words that you've gleaned from your text. Find brave stones like scattered courage. Okay. And then you can always use Poscas or some other way to mark and add accents, colors, frames, whatever seems to work for you. And this part is all very intuitive. You just kind of take what seems to come to you next. You can use lines and squiggles, dots, waves, whatever seems to work. I feel like there even could be some things in here. This is almost turning into a little bit of a water, like a stream, which is interesting. My paddle wheel is over there, so possibly what I need is a stream all the way across the bottom here. Also, sometimes you'll do something and then you're like, oh, I don't know if I really like that. You can just sit with it a little bit, add a little something. You can always cover it over with gesso or white acrylic paint if you just don't like it at all. So I think what I could do here with this also is, because I really want to accent the idea of a flame, I've got a red gel pen. And just gonna outline here. This is just a time to have fun and not worry about what the right thing to do is. You just enjoy adding things as they come to your mind, and that's a beautiful just a beautiful thing about Soul Pages, something I love. Part of this lesson is about magical coincidence, and this water wheel, which attracted me from the stencil and this river that came completely unbidden, is a concept or an example of the magical coincidence right here. I came up with the word balance, or the phrase balance human determination together. I think what I'm going to do with that is just write on my board here just the words balance together. So, and for me, that carries the thought of the outer person and the inner person balancing together. Both are important in this life, and so it's just a good way to remember. And sometimes the balance is somewhat precarious. I love, these are the things that we learn as we do art. We learn these intuitive things that come as we see how the spread speaks to us. Then I think the last set of words that I'm going to add is believe toward next time. And that definitely has to do with the candle. And I'm struck with the fact that there is in here the word death, and that sometimes death to one thing brings a new thing, a next time. And believe toward next time seems like kind of like the thing that crowns or tops this whole spread. We find brave stones, we have courage, we find balance, and then we believe toward next time. So it just seems to me to kind of grow with the flame and the tree. White pens are not always the most friendly. They sometimes take a little while to cooperate. Let's try this one. Sometimes the Posca pens leak a little bit, so I like to try them on my paper first, and it's not really working. Okay. There we go. It's making kind of a little cloud around it. That's okay. When I was a quilter, it seemed like one of the things that was always looking for was good sources of yellow fabric. And as an artist that does mixed media work, I find that trying to find a white acrylic pen that works well is definitely a challenge, kind of like finding yellow fabric. So I suppose every art form has its challenges. So believe toward next time has a bit of a cloud around it. Okay, there we got some paint out, so I'll just move that around. And in some levels of color theory that are related to emotions, white is the color of learning. And so I think about this and how I was drawn to put white around the phrase believe toward next time. And that is the way to do that, is to learn that those things are, that there will be a next time and that there will be something to learn. I may add some other lines and dots. I'm not really sure. I feel like I need to work a little bit with my person here. Sometimes it takes me a while. I need to sit with the spread and just let it speak to me a little bit. So I'll turn off the recording at this point in time and work some on my artwork, and then I'll show you the final result.